everyone, it's Simon Rollings here from The Complete Presenter, and today we're going to talk about a tactic to enable us to disagree with someone wholeheartedly, potentially, but still be able to maintain a relationship and hopefully give ourselves the best chance of resolving that conflict as well. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a video based around the 4 words to solve any conflict if it doesn't matter. So if things really don't matter, you can say, and I'll put a link to that video, but those 4 words are "you're right about that." If you haven't seen that video, have a little watch, it's a couple of minutes long. Today, though, we're going to look at what happens when things do matter, and actually we can't just get rid of the person by kind of mock agreeing with them. So this is where we come to something called qualified agreement. And it's a really, really lovely technique, which is actually really useful in training, in teaching, but in any format, to be honest. I tend to use it within sort of presentations and training, but actually it's just really, really useful, particularly at the moment where a lot of things are virtual, if not everything is virtual, and disagreements are even easier potentially to come by. So all we do is work upon the tactic that we try and find something that the person has said that we're in conflict with. We try and find something about what they've said to agree with, and then that is what we start with when we start talking. Because one of the problems in conflict, as I'm sure you're aware, is that we're not listening to one another. We're just pausing whilst the other person speaks so that we can carry on making our point that completely opposes their point. So qualified agreement essentially would look like, yeah, do you know, I agree with that part that you're saying. And the moment we do that, the other person tends to kind of relax a little bit. And because essentially we, particularly in conflict, we're not listened to. And therefore when someone proves that we have been listened to, it just kind of de-escalates it somewhat. And from there, they are then much more likely to then listen to what we have to say. So, yeah, do you know, you're right. That thing I agree with. We don't have to agree with everything. We can just agree with one small, tiny little thing. Where I think we're separate is, and then you perhaps give your well thought out reasons, but it just takes a lot of the toxicity out of the argument. And it's a really, really lovely technique to show that you've been listening, and then it tends to be reciprocal. That person then tends to listen to you as well. So it's, as always with these things, they're easy to talk about. They are harder to do in practice because emotions are running high. But if you can remember it, and particularly if you know you're going into a situation where perhaps there might be conflict, then give yourself a bit of a trigger. If it is virtual, put a post-it note up near where your webcam is, and to remind yourself to try that. And the best thing about it, I think from my perspective, is it genuinely forces you to listen to the other person's point of view and really look for, because you have to find at least something that you agree with. So it really makes you listen. And then by actually listening rather than pausing, you may find that actually you're not as far apart as you think. At the very least, even if you carry on disagreeing with each other, even if you can't completely resolve the conflict, it should, as I mentioned, draw out the toxicity out of the conflict. And then a healthy conflict, you know, that's a good thing, because even if we don't agree, we tend to find out a bit more about each other, and potentially that can help us going forwards in the relationship. And weirdly, even trust tends to go up if we've had a healthy conflict. So we don't want to avoid conflict. We don't want it to be toxic. And if we can really listen and show that we've listened by that qualified agreement, that should hopefully help us out of the conflict, or at the very least, keep it healthy. Hope you found this helpful. If you have, please do like, share and follow. If you want to be a part of the ongoing conversation that I'm having over in my free Facebook group called Complete Presenters, then I'll put a link either in the description or in the comments. So please do, if you fancy sort of joining that, it would be great to have you over there. We talk about all things to do with influential communication. So from presenting through to handling conflict, gravitas, presence, confidence, kind of you name it. If it's anything to do with influencing other people or feeling more confident or giving those presentations, that's kind of what we're talking about. And we try and have a bit of fun whilst we're there as well. So hopefully see you over there, but if not, see you on the next video. Thanks ever so much.